Now, our lead story tonight is President Trump making a number of bad decisions. So we start with the Alabama thing. Now, when the storm hit the Bahamas on September 1st, Sunday, the president tweeted out, in addition to Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and Alabama, will mostly be hit harder than expected, looking like one of the biggest hurricanes ever, almost Category 5. Be careful. God bless everyone. So the press objected to Alabama being put in there. And then instead of just letting it go, because it doesn't mean anything to anybody, certainly doesn't mean anything to the United States of America, the president started to argue with the press. Why? I didn't cover it. You may have noticed I didn't even cover it. So what? And then the president brings out a map. He's got a marker. Come on. It doesn't matter. It's stupid. And I don't understand why Donald Trump, who's a supremely intelligent individual, and you'll learn that if you read my book out in 2 weeks, The United States of Trump. He's a very intelligent man. Why doesn't grasp? Well, what are you fighting with these morons for over whether Alabama is in the path of the storm or not? It's a 10-minute story unless you, the president, elevated, which you did. And you gave them 48 hours of hysteria. I didn't watch it, and you probably didn't watch it either, but this is the United States. It needs to be run. This is just stupid. Second thing, we have the Taliban meeting. Now, it should be clear to everybody that President Trump is going to meet with anybody he can meet with in order to get deals that he deems beneficial to the country. That's what the North Korea thing is all about. So if he can meet with the Taliban, whether it's in Camp David, Maryland, or someplace else, he's going to meet with them. Now, the Taliban are obviously terrorists, and you can make an argument you don't meet with terrorists, you don't elevate them. But for me, things are going on for 18 years in Afghanistan. I was there in 2007. Now, do I believe the Taliban is going to keep their word about anything? No, I don't. Would I meet with them to try to get some kind of deal? Yeah, I would. I'd meet with them. And I understand the downside to it. It's almost frightening in its dishonesty that the very people who object to all military action, the far left, now criticizes President Trump for meeting with the Taliban to try to get a peace deal. Drew Brees last night, the New Orleans Saints won the game against the Houston Texans. Amazing game. Brees, a really, really good guy. Last year, behind the scenes, I asked him through the excellent New Orleans Saints front office to meet with a acquaintance of mine who has terminal cancer. So Drew Brees did. Took a half an hour to meet with the man and his wife. Amazing. That's the kind of guy Drew Brees is. So on October 3rd, it's Bring Your Bible to School Day, trying to get some kind of spiritualism back into the conversation with students in America. Drew Brees cuts a video appearance about Bibles, and it goes out on the net. Roll it.
Hey guys, Drew Brees here. One of my favorite verses in the Bible is 2 Corinthians 5:7. For we live by faith, not by sight. So I want to encourage you to live out your faith on Bring Your Bible to School Day and share God's love with friends. You're not alone.
All right, what an excellent message. Immediately, the Twitter mob, which we talked about yesterday, attacks Drew Brees and tries to harm him because that video was put out by the Focus for the Family organization. Now, Focus for the Family is a traditional Christian group, does not believe in gay marriage or gay adoption. So they are, according to the Twitter mob, haters. And therefore, Drew Brees should be condemned for even helping them with anything. Now, Mr. Brees said, look, I didn't even know what Focus for the Family's policies are. They asked me to do this, and I did it. And it's simply a one shot about the Bible and how worthy it is. That's all. And that's true. Okay, so what we have, again, is another example of the Twitter mob trying to harm an individual, a good man, because they don't agree with him. They don't want the Bible coming in school. Far left doesn't want that. First, let's take a look at politics, because we have the big Democratic debate coming up tomorrow night in Houston. There's some angst on CNBC, that's the financial channel, about Elizabeth Warren. Apparently a bunch of CEOs have figured out, if she ever got elected as President of the United States, be a flight of capital out of the United States that has never been seen before. And there's an article, an interesting op-ed in the Wall Street Journal today that says Ms. Warren simply sees assets, Americans' assets, savings, stock holdings, 401ks, investments, as not theirs, as the government's. And the government has a right to take a portion of those assets. The quote in the op-ed today is, when capital is no longer protected as private property and is instead redefined as a communal asset, prosperity and freedom will be the greatest casualties. Socialism always destroys wealth. It doesn't redistribute it. That's from Phil Graham and Mike Salon today in the Wall Street Journal. So now, I don't think most Americans understand Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders, even though Sanders is much more in your face. I don't think they get how dramatic a change there would be to American society and the economy if either of those two individuals were elected president. And therefore, the polling is kind of like not really incisive at this point. And Donald Trump has done a very poor job in really defining the difference between his capitalistic approach and the far left socialistic approach. But that'll come, you would assume. Warren's a riot. I mean, she's running up $30-40 trillion in spending. And she'd have to seize private property, and she would. She absolutely would. Read my column, The Con, posted on the website. Elizabeth Warren doesn't believe in private property. Your assets, even after you pay taxes on your salary, stocks and bonds, whatever it may be, she doesn't believe they belong to you. They're the government's property. It can take it, government can take it anytime it wants. According to her, that's socialism. Okay, so Warren, just in time for the debate, another $200 a month for all Social Security recipients. And Social Security is going bankrupt because of government mismanagement. So something has to be done someday about that. Okay, let's cut through the fog. There are only two Democrats at this point in history, on September 12th, right? Yes. Two that could be nominated to run against Donald Trump. Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren. That's all. Bernie Sanders, not going to get it. Bernie's support is rock solid. The same people liked him 4 years ago, like him now. He'll say the same things that he said 4 years ago tonight. The same thing. Maybe he'll be more global warming tonight, I don't know. But it's the same stuff. Warren is getting a little bit more because people don't understand who she really is. You know, not paying attention to her. And they should. So it's just Warren and Biden. That's all. All these other people take a miracle, and I mean that literally, for any of them to get the nomination. They're all in single digits after what, 6 months? And after this debate tonight, if Biden holds his own, Biden's got it locked. If he holds his own. Now expect Warren to go after Biden. Maybe Bernie too, to my tag team him. We'll see. But Kamala Harris, Klobuchar, O'Rourke, Yang, Booker, there's no way. And you're going to see ABC give all the time to Biden, Warren, and then Sanders will be third. But the rest of them will hardly get anything. Because they can control who gets the time. And ABC will.